Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to have a go at texturing our hand drill that we're modelling in Maya. So far all I've done is gone to File and New, found my file, made sure it's 2K and left all the other settings as it is. Down the right hand side we've got all our parts that we named, which is the benefit of having named them when we added in those texture IDs. The only other additional thing I did, because I forgot after I stopped recording the previous video, was I added another texture ID on the chuck where the knurling, like the grippy part of the chuck, was going to go. So the first thing we need to do is go to Edit, Bake Maps, and I change this to 2K so it matches up. And then we are going to go to Bake Selected Textures. Okay, and you can tell when that is finished because it has a little bit more like shading to it and like shadows and that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically try and make it look like a bit like a one it's been a used sort of drill. So we'll start with the handle. So we're going to aim to make our own smart materials. Obviously you've got your own materials like base materials here, and you've got smart materials with their own like wear and that sort of thing. But I'm going to try and stick to sort of my own materials here. So let's have a look what we've got. So it's a little bit of trial and error. So let's drag. Okay, and then what we can do. So when you bring in, obviously it always has like a base layer that I just always remove like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go try playing a projection, sort of orientate where it needs to go. I'm going to turn off that so you can see what's starting to happen. What I can do is then go to let's have a look. Don't want it to repeat. Actually, I think that looks okay so far. So that's our good base. I think we'll probably keep it that sort of colour. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to keep that and then instead use the same material on that one. So let's have a little bit of wear on here as well. So now what we're going to start to do is add in a fill layer, which goes over the top of it. What I'll do is and I'll add a black mask, which means that the materials underneath it can show through. And then let's add a fill. And then what we can do is we can look for something like scratches. Something like that. And then what we can do is we can bring those down a bit and play around with the settings a little bit. And what I might do first of all, then let's go to this base color and let's change that to like a grey sort of thing like that. I'm not a fan of that. Let's remove that. Let's right click, remove. Let's add in rust, bring that up there. But then let's add a black mask. Then let's add a fill, and then let's do some scratches. There we go, that looks a bit better. Let's do the same thing again. Should we just stick with rust? Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. Let's try this one. I'll bring this one in. And then let's, oh, wrong thing. Add a black mask. Then let's add a generator this time, and let's go with that. I'm going to do a few more of these. So let's add a fill there this time. Black mask, add generator. Let's go with some metal edge wear. Let's bring that down quite a bit. Yeah, something like that. And we'll do another one. Add a black mask. A generator. Let's add some dirt. Playing around with the settings a little bit. It's all trial and error, like what you think looks nice. You don't want to make it like too much. Because one thing I was very guilty of when I first started is I'd add too much. Sometimes just a sprinkling little bits make it better. Actually, I think we might call that done. And what I can do is I can take that and I can use that on this wooden handle as well. So what I can do is let's select all of it. Add group, select all, and move it up into that folder. That's all in there. I can then open that, by the way, again. So I just click on that folder, I put all in that. And the order does matter in terms of what we've got on. So obviously at the bottom of the order, we've got the wood rough that we've got there. And then what I'm going to do is right click and instantiate across texture sets, which basically means I'm going to instance it. So I'm going to put that onto none of those. And let's do, which one did I have it as? It was the little handle, small handle. We'll see what will happen in a second. There you go. It's now come onto our little handle there, which is what we want. Although actually, I think what I might do, let's move on to the next little bit. So let's look at some of the metals that we've got. So we've got like iron raw damaged. Something like that. Again, I'll just right click and remove that layer there. I always like to go from UV ejection to try playing them because it just sort of like reorientates the material. Go to physical size. Now let's go to tiling. Okay, let's add fill layer, add a black mask. We need some metal edge wear for that. Let's go to generator. Let's go to metal edge wear. Yeah, something like that. Because it's quite a small part, we don't need a great deal. We'll put some scratches on there as well, I think. Let's go back to grabbing some rust. There we go. Let's drag that up. Black mask and a fill. And let's grab some scratches. Not done. Doesn't look like it's done anything. Let's grab. There you go. So you can see them, they're just very, very faint. It's what we want. Okay, that one's done. Let's do the same sort of thing for the main shaft. So we took, what do we go with? I think I quite like the iron damage. Seems to work quite good. Let's drag that on. Let's go to triplanar again. And you see it sort of reorientates the material a little bit. And then I do like to play around with physical size or tiling. We'll stick with tiling. Okay, again, definitely need to have a fill layer, black mask, and then let's go add a fill, and then we want, no, not a fill, sorry, a generator, and we want some metal edged wear on there. We'll bring that down a bit. There we go. Do another one. Let's get some dirt. And we'll bring that down so it's not quite as intense. And a lot of this is sort of like rinse and repeat the same sort of thing, but we're trying to break it up a little bit so it's not so all looks as one part, kind of want it to look all separate. Let's go to Rust. Where are you? Okay, let's do our main gear. So I'm still going to take that iron damaged, I think. And then what I'm going to do is go to plastic matte. I'm just going to use that as like a paint. Let's bring that on top. Let's change that. The reference image or the reference one I've got is a yellow, like a dull yellowy sort of thing. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a bit darker. You can change how that will like interact with the material below it. So basically I've added the metal and then I put like a colour over it, and then here is how essentially how it like interacts with the material below it, so you can play around with the settings a little bit. I'll just leave it like that, maybe make it a little bit more yellow. Yeah, like that. Okay, so then let's start adding in a fill layer. Get some metal edge wear. And you see it's going around all the teeth. Bring that down so it's not quite as intense. Where it goes, you can see that's essentially where this other gear would interact with all those little bits, which is really good. Again, you don't want to go too over the top, but it's nice. But you can play around with the setting of the sliders to like look all the dirt, like whereabouts you'd like, and you can sort of see slowly where. If you start to move it and nothing's appearing, it might just be that it's doing it in places you haven't looked yet, so like underneath or like in between little teeth and that sort of thing. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, then let's add it in to the rust and scratches. And again, you can sort of play around with all the different scratches on the other side as well, so you can play with all these settings about like how many scratches you've got, how long they are, how many repeated, double scratches, that sort of thing. So there's loads and loads of settings you can play with. Let's go back to our iron damaged. Move layer. Grab this one. Let's go to. Oh no. Triplanar. A little bit of metal edged wear on here. To a black mask. And the generators are good because it does a lot of like random seeds of where it's going to put all your dirts or your wear or that sort of thing as well. So if you were trying to like do things randomly yourself, whenever you try and make things look random, it makes it really, it's actually quite difficult to make stuff look random. You just look like you're trying to make it look random, if that makes sense. Whereas if you've got like a generator that does it, it's actually random. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's. It's always worth zooming out again so you can see how it's all going to look. So obviously parts like this aren't going to be massively seen, but it's worth putting a little bit of detailing in there just in case. Stuff under here though, that's not going to get seen at all, so we're just going to add material to it, and maybe we'll add a little bit of dirt to it. Bring that down a bit. Yeah, just like that, because actually that was not seen at all. Okay. So this is why, by the way, I made sure I did a different ID map for that part, because that bit's going to be the nailing that we're going to have. So we're going to bring this up again. Triplanar. Let's get our rust. Black mask. A generator. Dirt like that. That looks quite good. Metal edge wear. Not down a bit. Yeah, like that. And then for the nailing, I like to use this material. Let's do triplanar. Physical size. Bring it down. So you see it looks like the little grip that you would have. Like that. Then I actually like how this is looking a lot more when I used the rust and then did the dirt from that. So I think I'm going to do the same to that on this big wheel in a minute. But let's finish off here first. Let's add a fill layer. Okay. Right, yeah, looks quite nice. I got that in there. Maybe add in another one. So you end up doing quite a few like layers of the same sort of thing because they're all random, they go in different sort of places. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I think I probably will come back over to the big gear here. Okay, let's remove that one. I wasn't a fan of that one. Let's grab in rust, black mask, add generator. Let's do some dirt like that. There you go, looks better. There you go, I like how that's looking. Let's bring another one in. Do the same but with metal edge wear. Yeah, something like that looks good. Then let's come to the underside. I'm pretty sure I linked all of those screws together, did I? Yes, I did. Let's just check. Yeah, so it's literally just this handle, that little connector bit, and then the screws, and then we are done. So let's go, which would be used wood rough and waste. Let's bring that over. Let's go triplanar. Critical size. No. Tile in. Okay. I love it, sort of repeat, but as you like, you can sort of like just add little tweaks here and there to what you want to do. Okay, last little bit. And then let's get okay, so I'm going to take that colour. Let's see if this works. Copy that. There we go. So that now matches. I'm just adding a little bit of damage, a little bit of wear and tear. This is the real benefit of using Substance Painter for like product visualization, is that you can really add in the imperfections that make things look more realistic. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think I'm probably going to do the same on the gears a little bit as well. There's a bit more there, but let's just do these screws as well. So obviously not going to get seen a lot, but I'll put. Yep, I'm happy with that. So let's just go back to our little gear. Just adding in a few little extra things. Now we've got like the main sort of things done. Yeah, that looks better. Just about adding in where we think little bits should be. Okay, then yeah, something like that I'm quite happy with. So any other thing I said in the previous video I wanted to do was rather than like modeling like Phillips head screws, was trying to do, so let's go to screws, let's add a new paint layer. So now if I was like to paint like that, but then let's go to brushes. In fact, I'm going to just save this. I know it's just RSA, but let's just save this. Okay, so let's go to our brushes. I'm going to look for, let's try that. Okay, so I can rotate it that way. Let's try this size down a little bit. Okay, then let's get rid of colour, get rid of all these, just have the height. Let's bring this down. So now if I have to do this, what should happen? Like indents, but I don't like that particular design. Let's see if I can find something else. What view is this? Yeah, like that. Okay, so let's just bring this height up, this size up a little bit. There we go. So yeah, rather than modeling that in Maya, we can just add a little texture to it instead. Obviously, those bits aren't going to be seen, so it seems a bit silly to do it, but there you go. Right, so I think texture-wise, we're finished. Let's just have a quick little save. Let's jump over to render settings. So sorry about that. My computer or Substance Painter froze. I think I need to do the latest update. So I've just come back into the render and we're going to go into settings. Let's do a clear grey background. Let's do something simple like a studio light. Okay, something like that. Let's just rotate our model around. Just going to find an angle that I want to render it on. Remember, obviously, if you want to rotate the model, you need to go back into your modeling software. So in this case, Maya, Blender, whatever you're using. Don't know if you can hear that, but my fans on my laptop have suddenly kicked in quite a lot. Okay, so quite happy with that. Obviously, put quite a little bit of wear and tear and like usage into it. All I'm going to do now then is go to rendering. I'll put up the time a bit more. So let's do like 200 seconds. So what I'll do is I'll leave this to run, and then I'll put this as the thumbnail. I'll speed this up for you. Hopefully you found that useful and interesting. Any questions, please leave a comment down below or email me at designwithsimon@outlook.com. Okay, so didn't run that for that long, 3.5 minutes just about. Managed to get some really nice detail in there. I'll leave this as the thumbnail. Hope you enjoyed it.